A great welcome at the walks, where supporters are finally enjoying seeing their side in the National League. One of last season's newcomers, they were unable to properly savour their promotion. Fans eager to see their club push forward at this level, but the tests don't get much greater than Dagenham and Redbridge right now. A brilliant end to last season saw many tip them as this season's surprise package, and the way the Daggers have started, that looks like being a distinct possibility. They began the weekend top of the pile and unbeaten after 4 games. Ian Culverhouse is without key forward Gold Mateo, who's expected to be out for several weeks with an ankle injury, but Junior Marais comes back into the side after serving a 3-game ban, and there's a club debut for 19-year-old Zane Walker, who was signed this week on loan from Bristol Rovers. Luis Fernandez is handed a recall in the back line. Callum McFadden, Sundyer and Linton all moved to the bench. Daryl McMahon's made 2 changes to the 11 that began the Daggers 2-2 draw at Wealdstone. George Saunders and Harry Phipps both make their first starts of the season. Phipps missed all of the previous campaign with a knee injury, so this is his first start since September 2019. Available for the first time this season are Dean Rance and Scott Wilson, who both return to fitness and start on the bench. Well, Junior Marais, as I mentioned, back available today, having been sent off on his debut, and could well, Adam Virgo, be key today for Kings Lynn?
I think so. I think when Ian Culverhouse looks at his side with the young squad and young team that he has out, you do need that bit of experience within the final third, the know-how and the quality, and that's something they'll be looking for him in that final third. And we certainly look at young players in the National League making the name for themselves to make the step up into the Football League. And for me, George Saunders is a big season for him, signed from Hornchurch. His pace and movement in the final third is something I'm really excited about to see in this game.
Well, football can be a small world. Ian Culverhouse and Daryl McMahon go way back to when Daryl was on the playing staff at Leyton Orient and Ian was assistant manager around 2004, 2005 kind of time. So the players take the knee in a show of solidarity in what is the ongoing fight against racism. Well, this is a league where we've come to expect surprises. Just look at the title winners we've had over the last 5 years. And Dagenham and Redbridge could be the latest club to go from mid-table mediocrity to promotion challenges. The Daggers among the early pace setters. Kings Lynn would see them as a big scalp today, and what belief Adam would give all involved at the walks if they could achieve their first home win since April today.
I think it's a massive game for Ian Culverhouse, a game that I think for them, they have to be right defensively. We've seen the quality they've got on the ball, the talent, the young talent that they've got going forwards. But defensive mistakes, defensive lapses cost them, and you can't afford to do that with the quality of McCallum in the side. But listen, they're a decent football inside that can create things in the final third, and I think this will be a good opportunity as well for the likes of Walker to come in and really show himself that first-team football that Ian Culverhouse can certainly provide for them.
Well, he certainly looked bright in the early stages. Walker on his debut, winning that free kick. A foul by Phipps, who makes his first start of the season. It's been placed by the captain, Tyler Denton. Just over a minute gone. Brett McGavin is there as well. It is going to be Denton to swing it in. It's a decent ball, that. Wide it goes in the end, but very well taken free kick by Denton.
The little decoy from McGavin just basically makes the back line drop because they think he's going to take it, and you can just see them dropping, and that allows the ball in from Denton and for the players to run onto it to maybe get a better opportunity to get nearer the goal with the header. It's been a decent start so far from his side.
Ian Culverhouse, someone who coached a young Adam Virgo many moons ago. He's an attractive brand of football, has earned him plenty of admirers in the game, not least in Norfolk, where, of course, he's already very much loved from his time as a player at Norwich.
I don't have to blame him or compliment him for my career. He's a really good coach, Adam, really good with the youngsters. So when I broke into that Brighton first team, just that know-how to work with young players, the communication, what is expected them to do on the field, and say one of the good guys in football, and you can clearly see why he's bringing young players in, because they'll come in and get the opportunity and chances, which sometimes you don't always get at this level, being a youngster.
He was talking ahead of this game. to Grant Holt about how it is a young team, and he accepts that there will be mistakes made by young players, but he's somebody who just seemed to have that ability to nurture talent, bring players on. Here's Walker, who's just 19 years old himself. Rice, number 10, is the player who's just making his way into the box there. And it will be a Daggers free kick. George Saunders getting back, doing some defensive duties.
Well, it's an area that Kings Lynn certainly look at, especially with the wing-backs, the goals that they've scored this season, the crosses they get into the box. It's certainly a very, very tight one there. Maybe Elliot Johnson could have been playing Denton onside. It's been a decent start from Zane Walker. Just gets in that little pocket of space, and what he's doing, get on the half turn, and he is driving forward with pace. That's making the Dagenham line drop back.
Speaking to some people at Bristol Rovers, they say how desperate he is to succeed. Zane Walker, it will have been difficult for him, as it has been for a lot of players there, with so much managerial change in the last 18 months or so. He's been signed on a 1-month youth loan deal. And the director of football at the Walks, Robbie Back, says it isn't costing Kings Lynn a penny, that temporary move. Early days in this new campaign, there is no need for anyone to be too down or indeed too excited. The National League season long and unpredictable, but Dagenham and Redbridge have certainly got plenty of people talking. He's not happy there though, Daryl McMahon. And it's Kings Lynn who are making a lot of the early running here. Barrows with the pullback here. Walker on the ball again. Coleman looks to have a go, and it was watched all the way by Elliot Justin.
I think you'd be slightly frustrated at them, because they seem to be finding little pockets of space at the minute, Kings Lynn, and they get on that half turn. I just don't see the desire and the pressure to go out and close them down in that midfield area that's really pushing them back at the start of this game.
He is somebody, Adam Coleman, who could be very important, isn't he, for Ian Culverhouse this season?
Real quality player, Adam. Really is just a young player being given an opportunity and game time. We spoke about Sonny Carey a lot last season, going on to Blackpool with the opportunity of first-team football, and I think this is another one we can certainly look at as a bright future.
There's a high foot there from Maro Villette. He's had a good start to the season. Signed a new deal until 2023 in June. Somebody Darren McMahon recognises as a really good one-on-one player. He's versatile as well. Bowery's pass. Movement there was by Junior Rice. And it goes from Johnson. It was miscontrolled there by Matt Robinson. An urgency here about Kings Lynn. Walker to disguise the pass, and Justin's come a long way. Flag has gone up though. Joe Rowley it was in pursuit of that ball by Walker.
You can see what he was trying to do, just trying to go deeper and deeper, and then just trying to curve that run to stay onside.
Sixth season with the Daggers for Elliot Justin. He was actually born in Dagenham. Robinson looked to flick it on. Reynolds. Right. Both sides were involved in entertaining draws last weekend. Kings Lynn were 2-0 down after 8 minutes at Eastleigh, but they fought back to 2-2, then went 3-2 down before a late equaliser to make it 3-3. As McCallum flicks on here. Dagenham and Redbridge also showed great powers of recovery in their last game. Came from behind twice at Wealdstone, where it finished 2-2. What a crazy weekend it was. Last weekend in the National League, 50 goals we got. Calmly done by Reynolds, and now Wright. Bird, the former Eastleigh and Notts County player, scored a 20-yard own goal last weekend. Here's Coleman. It goes towards Morais. And Barrows and Morais.
They've done really well there, Ross Barrows, because the long ball went forward to Morais, and you know that the likes of Reynolds are going to win those knockdowns, but it's then all of a sudden the second ball that you need to win on the front foot. Barrows being the wing-back, coming inside off the line and getting there, and that's what's kept Dagenham in their own half just at this moment.
Barrows was one of many players furloughed at Kings Lynn last season. There were times when I wondered how they were managing to get a team on the pitch. Such were the difficulties in terms of a financial perspective, having to call in plenty of favours, one would imagine, Ian Culverhouse, in terms of getting players in from everywhere he could possibly find them. But it'll be a much more settled, one would imagine, this season. Can surely only be of a benefit. Walker, who is the latest new signing, he's made a bright start as well. Walker with the ball inside.
He started really well, saying Walker in that little 10 role. Just being positive every time he gets someone. That's what you want from your attacking players and your fair players in that final third. Not to get the ball, have your back to goal, play it back and play the simple pass. He's one of those ones that's been on the half turn on a number of occasions. He's driven forward with a purpose.
Bowery. He generate the power to truly trouble Justin. Rowley's taking up some good positions.
That's been a good start for me and Culverhouse's side, and say half chances really, just a sloppy ball out there from Elliot Johnson. Reynolds come around to make the challenge. And it's a comfortable save from Elliot Justin from distance, but it's been quite a sticky start so far for Darryl McMahon's side.
Not last season, of course, his first full season in charge of Victoria Road. Things really do look to be going in the right direction now for the Daggers. Great start to this current campaign. But he was quite keen to point out, I noticed ahead of this match, Adam, that it is very early on in the season. He said, look, it's all well and good having a good start and being top of the table after 4 games, but it's where you are in March, April and May that really counts.
I do get that, but you certainly take it. At the start of the season, we've seen the likes of Stockport have a difficult start to the season. I think the pleasing aspect, what I've really seen from this season, going into a back three and the transition from defence into attack's been absolutely brilliant for them. And the goals from McCallum has been absolutely vital. I know he scored a fair few at the back end of last season, but had a bit of a difficult start to his Dagenham career. But the start that they've made so far, he can be very, very pleased with, and there's loads to work off.
One thing he's got a lot of as well is continuity within the squad, which not all National League sides will have. Very little change in the squad, which I would imagine at this level, when you consider the end they had to last season, is very much a good thing.
Yep, we saw what happened with Sutton last season, with Matt Gray's side just keeping the nucleus of squad. I remember Justin Edinburgh's Leighton Orient side keeping the majority of their squad and just adding 1 or 2 quality players in to go forward. It's so important. We see the breakup of squads season after season in the National League, but the ones that kind of keep that continuity, the majority of the teams, we see the next season, they go a lot stronger and tend to go for titles and into promotions as well.
Our apologies, by the way, if you had picked up any swearing. chance to break forward here. Rice will chase this, and it was Reynolds who came across, but kept in play. Denton with the ball back here. Rowley. Fernandez. Rowley. Seeing a fair bit of the ball in the early stages. Walker, that's a good ball. And Barrows with the ball in. Oh, what an inviting cross that was. Rice couldn't quite get there, but that's a peach of a cross that is.
Well, the build-up play was absolutely exceptional. And you talk about patience and drawing players out of position, then to create space. And that's what they did there. Villette gets drawn in towards the ball, and Barrows whips across an absolutely delightful ball there for Rice to maybe get on the end of, but he was just agonisingly close there. It really sums up the start that Ian Culverhouse's side has made in this game so far.
Here's Barrows again, who just put in that cross. He's never going to be kept in by Walker, but we've already mentioned Adam, and you will know, having been coached by Ian Culverhouse, he does have this reputation for playing football that is easy on the eye. We know that at times in the National League, that can be difficult to do, but he seems to be keen to stick to his principles.
I remember Ian Barrow was determined to get Barrow out of the National League by playing football, and I remember having a good conversation with Ian last season when they were going through a really, really difficult spell. Do I change my philosophy and go long and direct and play in the final third and miss out the midfield? And he's kept to his principles. But I feel Parkinson and Altrincham, there are good managers here that want to play football with good players, and he's kept to his principles, and they will get results, but they will get beat as well, and they will play out from the back and get caught. But that's why you go and believe as a manager and just stick by the sword and die by the sword, in my opinion.
Saunders with the ball down the line. Link back to Wright, who wears the armbands. 25th start in a row today for Will Wright. The Dagenham and Redbridge has become somebody that Darryl McMahon can really rely on. Phipps. Intercepted by McGavin, and now it's Rowley. It's nice play here by Kings Lynn, and it's with Barrows. Coleman to McGavin. A lot of this is one touch at times as well from Kings Lynn. Rowley. Barrows. Held up by Mauro Villette. Rowley, who's on loan from Chesterfield. Fernandez. Some holding by Reynolds there on Junior Rice.
It just sums up the sticky start, the sloppy start I think that Dagenham have made in this game so far. Experienced player, Callum Reynolds, knowing going to that area, you can't win it. Just let Rice have it, gets spun there and draws in the foul. The essential position, they may favour themselves, have a shot towards Elliot Justin's goal, maybe with the sun in his eyes a little bit, test the goalkeeper.
Denton walking away. Will Justin be troubled here? This is a long way out. And it was some way off target as well in the end.
Certainly one of those disappointing opportunities there. It's always going to be quite one of those shots from McGavin from distance to beat Elliot Justin.
Again, our apologies for any swearing. Morais with the pass. He looks to get the return as well, but it was well read by Johnson, who's had a very good start to the season, capable of playing in the centre of defence or at full-back.
It's been a slight difference for Johnson. We know him as a left-back for Barnet for season after season. We're going into a back three, just sort of picking up that left-hand side of the three. We do see it a little bit more now. Full-backs picking up a position now that they can drive forward the ball when they need to. It's important that Kings Lynn starts where they almost need the goal now because they've been on top for so long.
Rowley, Fernandez, Coleman. It's Coleman's pass, and this is Brett McGavin. Coleman. Rowley. Just too much on that for Junior Morais.
A bit more there for Junior Morais to get onto it. I think the ball out to Barrows would have been a better ball, but I think he'd be absolutely pleased at him with the side start so far. Lots of encouragement, lots of quality as well, and they've really asked questions of Dagenham in that final third.
Well, it was the Manny in Culverhouse who guided Kings Lynn to back-to-back promotions. Had to do a very different job last season under such trying circumstances. Robinson. Wright's ball wide. Robinson. Wright.
I think it's what Dagenham need, just a little bit of possession now in Kings Lynn's half, just to try and find themselves a little bit of space and a little bit of time there to get themselves into good areas to maybe try and find McCallum with crosses.
Johnson. Robinson. Villette opened up for the shot.
That's good position there from Villette there, but I just disappointed with the strike there. No real conviction, just kind of hits across it slightly. Doesn't really get the connection that he wanted to try and beat Paul Jones in the Kings Lynn goal.
I have to say, Darryl McMahon has looked very frustrated down there on the touchline right throughout the first 20 minutes. Denton has made the run forward here. Captain has been found. Oh, what a good ball that is! Just wide in the end. That's a fantastic pass. And it was Barrows who'd taken up such a good position, but was maybe stretching just too much to get it on target. But what about that for a pass?
Well, it's exquisite, wasn't it? And the run makes the pass as well. Brilliant net. Just couldn't quite get on the end of it in terms of just getting a bit more connection on it, a bit more belief there from Ross Barrows. But it's almost one of those games, Adam, I've played in it with being in the Dagenham side. You always need a goal against you to kind of kick yourself into gear and get yourself going. Because at the moment, it's as poor as I've seen in this season so far. They're off the pace, they're second to everything, not good on the ball. And they're sort of treading dangerous grounds at the moment.
And of course, they are still, and will be for a while yet, Dagenham and Redbridge without the influential and injured Angelo Balanta. Somebody, interestingly, who I heard Darryl McMahon saying to Aaron McLean ahead of this game, he thinks is the most talented player still in the National League, Balanta. They've, I thought, adjusted really well without him so far, but maybe this could be a day where they do miss him. We'll see. Still plenty of talent out there and lots of goal-getters as well for the Daggers. McCallum leading the way in that respect.
He's slightly different, Adam, because he kind of plays alongside McCallum when he has to, but when they're in these areas here, he can drop short and pick up the 10 roll where Villette is at the moment.
And it goes towards McCallum, who won his header, but didn't quite find Walker nor the target.
Oh, it's taken 22 minutes, and it's the first time we've really mentioned Paul McCallum in the game so far. And these are positions that he's going to pick up on the shoulders of the centre-halves. Even the quality of Paul McCallum in the air is going to be a lot to ask for him to try and get that one back towards goal.
Has scored in the last 3 games, Paul McCallum. He's looking up his record in recent seasons. 60 goals he's got in the last 110 National League regular season games in which he's played. It's better than 1 in 2, isn't it? He's had 4 different clubs in that time as well, McCallum. Real talismanic striker at this level of football. Right. Coleman. Rowley. Barrows out wide. Always an outlet down this side, an early cross in towards the player in the box, which was Denton. Rice on the edge of the area as well. And both Barrows and Denton, Adam, it's a real feature of Kings Lynn's play, isn't it? They get in such advanced positions.
Well, we've seen the goals that they've scored this season. It's so important. So talking to him in Culverhouse yesterday for a long period of time, that the wing-backs are so important, especially in a 3-5-2 formation when you've got 2 out-and-out players who've got abundance of pace and getting to forward. That's where your out-ball is. Haven't really got the out-ball down the middle. Still think that Kings Lynn are maybe short of a striker within that final third to come in and probably feel like the Michael Gash role that they had last season, which was so influential. But they are a big part of the way that Ian Culverhouse plays with wing-backs.
I think the intention of Ian Culverhouse was to have Mateo and Marais as a partnership and have them almost like Marriott and Gash were, like the big man, little man combination. Of course, Mateo now out with an ankle injury, just as Marais comes back from a suspension. Robinson. Ling. Johnson. Wright. Saunders. I'd imagine that Daryl McMahon will want to see Saunders, Adam, put into positions where he's one-on-one because he's very effective in that regard, but they haven't really manufactured those sort of situations like that, the Daggers, so far. Robinson with the ball forward, the layoff by McCallum, and it was returned by Josh Walker. Now Villette. McCallum it was who went to ground. A reminder that you can see all the goals from today's National League action in our highlights programme. That's at 9:45 tonight on BT Sport 1. And our Saturday tea time offering a week today is Weymouth against Dover. 5 o'clock start time for our coverage on BT Sport 1. Fernandez. Rowley. Coleman. Walker. Well, it was a little unorthodox that by Fernandez, but it kept the play going. Coleman with the ball forwards. And the header was by Denton, comfortable for Justin.
I think the positive thing for Daryl McMahon so far that they've kind of been these chances, apart from the one from Ross Burrows from that brilliant through ball towards him. Been pretty tame shots so far.
Kings Lynn certainly needed to make themselves much tougher to break down this season. They conceded 98 goals in the previous campaign. Only Wealdstone conceded more. And they haven't really been troubled so far at the back by Dagenham and Redbridge so far today. Coleman. Walker. Rowley. Coleman with the ball back. Walker. Held off Robinson. Nice feet there by Brett McGavin, and now looks to drive on, and the Rice will look to get on the turn. Well, he made the room for the shot brilliantly, but then couldn't get it on target.
He's done everything right, Adam, apart from the finish. Talk about the experience and the quality within the final third that you need in these kind of areas. And he just rolls Elliot Johnson so well, but then just snatches at the chance and the opportunity to even hit the target. The patient build-up play again, the spin. Just needed a bit more control in the shot there.
He had that loan spell, didn't he, at Boreham Wood last season. His third spell with the Woods was part of their 2015 promotion winning squad. Maravillette. Walker. Rowley. McGavin. That's Bird's pass. Denton's cross is deflected behind for a corner. Plenty coming forward here for Kings Lynn. Rice and Johnson, the players, wrestling there in the box. So just under half an hour gone at the Walks. And Kings Lynn have had the better of things so far without being able to break the deadlock. Justum's come forward and claims it well.
Good take there from Elliot Justum.
4 clean sheets in his last 7 appearances for Justum. Foul on Villette by Denton.
I think this will be certainly the first test for Ian Culverhouse's side. It's good they've been going forward. There's always that tendency to switch off defensively, individual mistakes. Poor goals that they've conceded this season. That's the first real chance for Dagenham to really put a ball of real quality in from right, and you've got the likes of McCallum and Reynolds up there as well.
So the skipper, Will Wright, will take this for Dagenham and Redbridge. Haven't really created a great deal from open play, but they could threaten from a set piece here. They've certainly committed plenty of players forwards, but the delivery bypasses all of them.
Poor there. Haven't really created too much within open play so far. When you get a set play like that and you overhit it, it'll be frustration for him so far. I think he knows he can give more from his players. They know they can offer more on the ball. In fact, it's 0-0. I think it's the only positive point for his side in the first 31 minutes, Adam.
I think he was pleased with a lot of the performance against Wealdstone, that 2-2 draw, but you detected a sense of frustration from him as well. I think he thought they made enough chances, in his opinion, to win that game. Just took a point from it in the end.
I think he was just disappointed with the manner of the goals, Adam, but I think he was pleased with the side's character to come back, and we know that they can score goals. They've shown that this season already. Now the 3 against Stockport, the 4 against Bromley. Good win against Barnard as well. But this haven't shown anything like that in the final third so far in this game. You have to give credit to Kings Lynn, the way that they've started. They've penned them back. They've not been able to get into the flow of their game so far.
Robinson first to it. Link, his second spell now with the Daggers. Phipps, Robinson. Link. Good movement here from Josh Walker. And comes out to Robinson. Wright. Stood up a good cross and Ling knocked it down, but the whistle goes. A free kick to Kings Lynn Town.
Now, one hand you get away with it, maybe two hands you don't. He's picking up a position in that far post area. Probably in an offside position as well.
Dagenham and Redbridge recorded a league double over Kings Lynn last season. They needed a 93rd minute winner at Victoria Road. That finished 3-2. But it was 3-0 to the Daggers at the Walks in April. McCallum, Balanta and Robinson with the goals. This doesn't look like being quite so routine for Dagenham and Redbridge. Fernandez. Kings Lynn need a run of form. They are a club who, despite the fact they've played pretty well in this first half, they've only won one of their last 17 National League matches, losing 11 of them. Villette, they could be in trouble here as well. And Robinson's forwards. And there's his cross, but straight into the arms of Paul Jones.
Maybe Robinson would have just taken that on first time rather than taking the extra touch, because that allows Fernandez there to get the almost the obstruction block across him.
Mention the fact Kings Lynn have only won one of their last 17 league games. Such a contrast with the Daggers. They've only lost one of their last 14 National League matches, winning 10 of them. A really strong end to last season and a good start to this campaign. Junior Morais, just seeing the picture there, just seems to be struggling a little bit on his return to the side after a 3-game ban. Of course, they're already without another centre forward in Goldo Mateo, and will be for several weeks because of an ankle injury. Barrow's the player down here. Seem to be struggling a little bit. Has he just been caught there? Yeah, it just seemed to be a cut, doesn't it?
It seems to saw one, doesn't it?
Well, he's going to show the referee the cut there. That's why we have this break in play. Should remind you that we have the return of the Champions League group stage. Match day 1 starts Tuesday from 5 o'clock, featuring Young Boys against Manchester United, Chelsea against Zenit, Liverpool, AC Milan, Manchester City against RB Leipzig. And then on Thursday night, attention turns to the Europa League. Dinamo Zagreb, West Ham, Real Betis, Celtic, Leicester, Napoli, Rangers, Lyon, and of course as well in the UEFA Europa Conference League, Tottenham go to France. Well, they will take on Rennes, 5:15 start time for that. Lots to look forward to in terms of European competition on BT Sport this next week. Robinson. McCallum. And hit early by Villette. Early, but off target.
A half chance there for Villette again. Just another mistake there, just trying to overplay in the wrong areas.
Rice looking to put the pressure on, but it was dealt with well by Johnson.
It was a good run there. Good covering though from Elliot Johnson, just to see that danger.
Fernandez. Walker chasing, but covering was Reynolds. It's cleared by Justin. Coleman. It's well won back as Saunders looks to burst down that right-hand side, and there's plenty arriving in the box here, but the cross not good enough to find any of them, cut out by Burt. But that's the sort of situation they'll want to get Saunders in more.
Yeah, disappointed Adam though, because he got in those one-on-one situations, used the pace that he got out there, but then you need that bit of quality. Didn't beat the first man with that cross.
It's a great run this, and Rowley's in the box. Now he feels that he got a push there. It'll be interesting to see again that. That's brilliantly done by Barrows. Well recovered though by Robinson. Well, still Rowley's asking the question here.
What's happening? Always just run to risk. When you get goal side of a player, Adam, and you don't play the ball, and the ball's played across like this, and there is contact, you just panic for the split second. I think that would have been a harsh penalty to give away there, but you always do worry for the moment, what angle the referee's at, what he does see there. But great little run there from Rowley through into that 6-yard box, but just a little bit behind him.
Tyler Denton will take this, former England youth international. Really deep delivery there. Bowery it was with the header. And there's Stephen Cleeve, who bought Kings Lynn more than 5 years ago now in 2016. He described the club, I recall, as a sleeping giant with a lot of potential when he took over, and he's certainly been realising that potential with the club enjoying those back-to-back promotions. He's a Norfolk businessman, made his money in the hotel industry and football memorabilia as well. He's had a lot on his plate running this football club, of course, as many National League owners have during these COVID times. Not easy. Rowley. Fernandez. From the reports I'm hearing from down on the touchline, it could be a lively team talk, Adam, at half-time, because, well, the word that relayed to me about Daryl McMahon's mood at the moment was fuming.
Yeah. Oh, I don't blame him at all, because it's as poor as they've seen him in a long time, even from the back end of last season. They've just not been at it, Adam, in terms of the quality. McCallum's hardly been mentioned. I don't even think we've even mentioned Walker. And Kingston have just beaten them in every single area. And I think that'll be the frustration. They're just working a little bit harder, they're a little bit more quality on the ball. I just think it's one of those team talks as a Dagenham or Redbridge player. You just keep your head down and cover your ears.
These two clubs finished last season 29 points apart in the Daggers' favour. And once again, they do have very different aims and expectations. Survival, Kings Lynn's first priority. Dagenham and Redbridge, particularly after the start they've made, expected to challenge for promotion, but that brings it with it precious. Of course, we've seen it. Boreham Woods go top of the pile earlier today. Dagenham and Redbridge would go back top if they were to win this today. Link. Robinson. Once more, I'm obliged to apologise for any swearing that you might have heard. It's a good ball there, and there's an appeal from McCallum. Barely mentioned McCallum's name in this first half. He is the sort of player, Adam, that just needs a second, doesn't he? He can be lethal in the box, but they've just not really got him involved.
He's a player, Adam, that needs service. We've seen the goals that he scored. Ball's out wide, cross comes into the box. He's arguably the best in the National League in terms of that physical presence. They've just not had the ball well enough in the final third and to create absolutely anything so far. That's been the issue there. They've been first to everything in Culverhouse's side. They can't get out of their own half when they're on the ball. I think they're lucky to be going in at 0-0 at the moment.
Maurice came off a well-placed Callum Reynolds, and a corner it will be for Kings Lynn in the final minute of normal time.
They got a bit of a break there from Lynn's challenge and just got something from it.
And Pierce Burrs is forward, so is Daniel Bowery. Zane Walker, the debutants, the player, just loitering on the edge of the box there. Really busy towards that 6-yard box. Seemed to be some holding going on there. Fernandez limped away. And then Robinson cleared on the edge of the box. Walker with the trip. So a minimum of 2 minutes to add on at the end of this first half. Adam, what have you made of it overall?
I think Ian Culverhouse will certainly be the happier of the two managers and the two sides going into half-time. I think they've played well within the final third. I know they've tried to play in the right way to create good opportunities. I think the disappointing thing for Kings Lynn, when they've got into those final areas, apart from that one chance from Barrows, haven't really tested Elliot Justin in the goal. I mean, I've only got 2 minutes to talk about Dagenham about their first half. I need probably about 5, how poor they've been. They just need more effort, more quality.
Rowley's pass, it's a good ball too, and that's a fine save from Justin. He might have seen that shot from McGavin a little late, you know, because there was a lot of players in front of him.
That was a really good save. Quite right to mention there, Adam. It's a late one that he sees. When your side's been poor, you need your goalkeeper to step up in the right moments and just keep it at 0-0 going into half-time. It's a controlled shot there from Gavin on the edge of the box, but a good save, good hand.
Final minute of added time at the end of the half as Denton swings one in. Right with the pass. Saunders looking for Walker. Denton. Movement from Maurice. Still Maurice, who, well, is maybe a little optimistic to take that on. As Adam Virgo says, he's likely to be much the happier of the two managers ahead of half-time, but he'll also be, I suppose, a little disappointed that despite having the better of this first half, that they haven't been able to take the lead.
Yeah, I think just one of those, Adam, where you know second half, you know his side, Darren McMahon's going to come out with a little bit more vigour and a little bit more bite, and they haven't scored where they're on top. And I think that's a dangerous side from a side that do play well in the final third, but do have a vulnerable nature of conceding poor goals.
So all square at half-time then. Junior Maurice has been a bundle of energy up top for Kings Lynn. They've created openings without being able to find a way past Elliot Justin, who's played well so far in goal for Dagenham and Redbridge. He'll be pretty pleased with the way that the first half has gone, less so Darren McMahon. It could be a lively half-time team talk for the Daggers boss. We'll get the thoughts of Aaron McLean and Grant Holt with Matt shortly. But at the break, at the walks, it's Kings Lynn 0, Dagenham and Redbridge 0. Thank you, Matt. Yeah, that's interesting that Aaron, who knows Darren McMahon so well, used that word trust about Miles Weston. I can remember Darren McMahon saying how reliable he is, how he's always going to get crosses into the box as well, Adam. And that's maybe what Dagenham and Redbridge, one of the many things they didn't do enough of in the first half.
I think that's everything that Aaron McLean has said in himself. He's just reliable and trust at this point of the game. Just a solid player, Miles Weston. You know what you're going to get with him. You know he's going to be up and down defensively and offensively as well. And a bit of experience and quality, which they were certainly lacking in that first half within that final third. So no surprise that Darren McMahon's gone and made that change at half-time, just to try and change things up. Lynn playing a little bit more central now.
Walker looking to slip in Marais, but it was well read and intercepted by Johnson. McCallum. Robinson already looking to get on the front foot at the start of the second half here, the Daggers. Walker has had a great start to the season, 3 goals in 4 games. Early involvement here for Weston, and it was blocked the cross by Barrows, and having Weston on will occupy Barrows more, so he can't get forward as much.
Exactly, he'll be more asking him more defensive duties. So that's going to be a really good battle in this second half. Now, Barrows will want to go forward and pull Weston back, and Weston want to do vice versa.
Maro Villette has gone for the return and got it too, and he's kept it going, and Walker couldn't quite make anything of that, and it's Weston again, and the cross towards the back post, and Saunders with the cross, and it's in. It's Josh Walker. What a start to the second half from Darren McMahon's Dagenham and Redbridge. In the second minute since the restart, they've caught Kings Lynn Town rather cold here, and Walker's fantastic start to the season goes on. 4 goals in 5 games.
Well, you look at your manager at half-time, what change can I make? I'll tell you what, I'll bring on Miles Weston, because you know he can do this. Great long thing to the far post there. Saunders gambles and just puts it back into a brilliant error, for either for McCallum or for Walker. But the substitutes come on straight away. Great composure there from Saunders, and it's an easy finish for Josh Walker. It's a perfect start for Dagenham and Redbridge in this second half. But again, it's the frailties of Kings Lynn, their defensive areas. Now, they do concede poor goals, and he'll be absolutely delighted with his side start.
And his start to the season as well. I remember Adam sitting in John Still's office when he was in charge at Barnet, I should say, when he said that he felt Josh Walker was one of the best young forwards he'd ever worked with. He was with Tottenham and Fulham as a youngster. He was a regular for Fulham's under-23s in Premier League 2 at one point. It's taken a while, hasn't it, to come to full fruition, but maybe we're going to see that from him this season, that talent really being realised.
Yeah, I'd say the talent is certainly there. It's just that consistency within that final third that I think has really been missing from Josh over the period of time. I mean, he did score goals at Barnet in the 1920 season, where he did find the back of the net on a decent amount of occasions. But we know there's more to his game, and I think that consistency playing up front, and even the injury to Belanta may have helped him get more of a run of games within the side.
Weston. Robinson. They just already look a completely different side at the start of the second half, the Daggers.
You kind of knew that. I said that at the end of the first half, that Ian Culverhouse will have to be aware that his side are going to be under a little bit more pressure from Dagenham and Redbridge, because they couldn't have played any worse, and you know they can certainly play better. And I was just worried that you're so on top, you don't score when you're on top, and you know the defensive areas and the struggles that Kings Lynn have had last season and now this season, that they concede a poor goal like that.
Booking as well for Luis Fernandez. Just got to regain their composure a bit here, Kings Lynn Town. Desperate to put on a show for their supporters today, Kings Lynn. They've now gone 8 National League home games without a win. The last was back on the 5th of April. They've got a set piece to defend here. It's a great delivery. Well, McCallum was one of those who let for it, but Reynolds was in there too.
Oh, just hit the wrong side of his head, really. So he rose really well, and he jumped up early. That gave him the chance. Just the direction there. I think the one thing you can say this season, he's not too worried that his side have been behind this season on more than one occasion. So they have come back into the games after conceding the first goal.
McCallum with the layoff, and it's wide. What a great chance that was for Maro Villette to make it 2.
Well, it should be 2, Adam. This game really should be out of Kings Lynn's reach. Delicate touch there from Paul McCallum, back to goal. Laying it off nicely, playing in the wrong areas, getting caught. Great little ball in though, great little layoff, great midfield run. But the finish has to be better. Can't be missing the target from there, Adam.
On the ball again here, Villette. They've gone from, by their standards, Dagenham and Redbridge looking pretty passive really in that first half, to suddenly now they're swarming all over that man's team, and they've not had any answers so far in response yet, Kings Lynn.
Well, I think it's one thing that you do see with Kings Lynn sometimes, that, as I've just mentioned there, they do go behind in games. It's almost when you concede that first goal, things seem to crumble quite quickly, and after the first goal goes in, it's a really long 10 minutes for them that they can maybe concede a second one quickly. They just need to get back on the ball and get that pattern of play going, which we saw really well in the first half.
Reynolds. Walker with Weston on the outside, Villette arriving on the edge of the box. McCallum's in there as well. Walker's cross. And behind it goes. There was some suggestion there that there could have been a hand involved, but it's going to be a corner and not a penalty.
Shows him down the line there, you go in there, hits him in the face in the end, even if it does strike the arm. It would have been very harsh there on Barry if he would have given away that one a penalty.
It's the son of the former Palace, Millwall and Colchester midfielder Bobby Bowery, Dan Bowery, who conceded that corner, taken by the captain. Had it cleared by Burt, and Weston's first to it. Long it goes from Justin. How does Ian Culverhouse change this again, Adam, in terms of bringing it back in his side's favour, because they've just not got going in the second half?
Well, they haven't. You've got Cullen on the bench that can maybe come on, just that little bit of quality within the midfield. Linton as well, has got good pace going in behind, so he's got options on the bench to maybe look at. But they need to get on the ball more. I haven't seen Walker get on the half-turn like we did in that first half, and the difference is that they can't seem to beat the press of Dagenham now when they're on the ball in these areas, where in the first half they were beating the press well with the ball.
Marais. McGavin's gone for the return, looking to get there before Wright, and he couldn't quite manage it. Coleman. Just overhit it, good idea, but it was always a big ask to find the run of Barrows. Signed permanently in the summer. Coleman, after a loan spell, turned down interest, I'm told, from Football League sides to play for Kings Lynn, of course. Really has bought into, as many of the players here have, the playing style of Ian Culverhouse. Fernandez, the player who went down there. Got to be careful. Fernandez, whether there was ever any danger of him being booked again there, but is already on a yellow. Now Weston, no doubt, will swing this in. Wright's there too. It's certainly been the Daggers' half so far. Given the lead through Josh Walker's fourth league goal of the season, it's going to be the captain who's maybe pulled rank here. Floated in then by right towards Villette, but just managed to keep it going and gets it back again here. Villette, nice ball back by Robinson, and Villette goes on. Great run and an important block that as well.
That's better, and came along and made the challenge in the end. He looks a lot more lively, doesn't he, in the second half, Mauro Villette. Confidence to get on the half turn and try and get that strike towards goal. He does well to keep the ball in and play that second phase of play, the little give and go. It would have been a question of offside there, though.
Weston onto that left foot, and McCallum trying to stick his head on that. I'm sure McCallum would have been delighted to see Miles Weston coming on at half-time, because he'll know that will be a lot more crosses coming into the box than there were in the first half. Really does thrive off that sort of service, Paul McCallum. 3 goals already this season. He got 16 league goals in the previous campaign. Fernandez with the header. There'll be a lot of thinking going on that Kings Lynn bench as to how they can change this in their favour. Certainly does have options on the bench. Ian Culverhouse, the likes of Clunan, he was a serving player at the club, and Linton, somebody who they got in from Wickham on loan last month. Fernandez. Bowery's pass. Not quite sure what Weston was thinking there, but Kings Lynn have possession with Coleman. Fernandez. Rowley. Denton. Link. Oh, good pressure that by Rowley to win it back. That's more like it though from Kings Lynn.
Oh, lucky there. I think Sam Ling just needs to play it down the line. They're just overplaying in the wrong areas. They get pressured. Unfortunately for Dagenham there, it just wasn't the right ball. I think it was all right. They're just at that area there, looking for the cutback though for Zane Walker.
The Daggers have won their first 2 away games of this season. 3-1 at Stockport on the opening day, 2-0 at Barnet at the end of last month. 2 home defeats so far for Kings Lynn. McGavin is the player down here. Just to remind you, you can see all the goals from the 5th tier today in our highlights programme. That begins at 10:15 tonight. That's on BT Sport 1. And the next live game is Weymouth against Dover. That's next Saturday from 5 o'clock on BT Sport 1. You will see every National League club live on our channels by the end of October. And the Champions League returns this midweek. Tuesday, 5 o'clock, the coverage begins. Some of the featured matches, of course, Young Boys against Manchester United, Chelsea against Zenit, Liverpool against Milan, Manchester City against Leipzig, and we see the Europa League take centre stage on Thursday. Dynamo Zagreb against West Ham, Betis against Celtic, Leicester, Napoli. Looks mouth-watering, doesn't it? And Rangers against Lyon. And as well, on Thursday night, Tottenham go to France, where they'll take on Rennes in the UEFA Europa Conference League. 5:15 start time for that. Villette. Saunders. Player down here for Kings Lynn. I think it's Pierce Bird. Clearly is a painful one. The word from the touchline is that they're suspecting he's rolled his ankle. This should tell us.
He seems to have got his studs caught in the ground and then just gone over it.
Well, Josh Walker with the goal that is the difference between the two sides. It just continues, Adam, his fine start to the season in front of goal. 4 goals in 5 games now.
That was an easy finish for him, but it's one of those ones you have to be in the right place at the right time and gamble on the cross, and then also the delivery from Saunders. That's really what it was all about. The influence substitute of Miles Weston. Saunders getting into that far post that we know he can do, and just that vision and unselfishness to put it back into an area, and a simple finish for him.
An assist for George Saunders. Remember, when he was at Hornchurch, his previous club, he got 25 assists in the 2019-20 season. Mark Stimson, the manager there, said that when the Daggers got him, he said the Daggers have got a lottery ticket with 5 numbers on it. 1 number from being absolutely anything. They said of Saunders, talked about him potentially playing as high as the Championship, maybe even the Premier League, but high praise. It's a good assist from him to set up the opener. Bird back on, but far from looking comfortable. Saunders squeezed it through to Villette. Lay off by Walker. Denton with a block off. Villette, the player fouled, and it's going to be a booking here, I think, as well.
Yeah, just in control of the game now, Adam. So first half we saw Kings Lynn in possession, creating space, creating little angles, creating one of those options for the players to run forward. Now all of a sudden they're spending the majority of the game in their own half. Dagenham have played well second half, you have to say that. They really penned them back, and fortunately for Ian Culverhouse's side, they should have scored when they were on top, and now they are struggling now to get into Dagenham's half.
Are you surprised that we haven't seen changes yet from Ian Culverhouse?
Yeah, a little bit. I think maybe the 65, 70 minute mark may be the telling point of maybe making a sub, but...
Walker on the turn! Got a lot of power behind that, and it was a good save as well by Paul Jones.
It was a good height for him to make, so certainly a goalkeeper of Paul Jones's quality, you would be expecting him to make a save like this, but it's a brilliant turn there from Josh Walker. It was a good, comfortable height, but he still had to make a good save.
Weston to take it. Plenty of distance on that. Reynolds is a long way forward, finds Weston again. Onto the left foot, dragged wide.
You snatched that opportunity there, Miles Weston coming on his left foot. You really just open your body out, put it into that bottom left-hand corner. Well, you got Coleman into that one-on-one area, you slow the defender up, gut inside. Just snatched across it to go the wrong side of the goal.
Vanarama signed him for Ebbsfleet. Miles Weston from Wickham back in 2017. They've spent a lot of time together, Weston and Darren McMahon. It's that change that the manager made at half-time that's had a real telling influence on this match. And a change of approach as well from Dagenham and Redbridge. Maybe passive in the first half, anything but in the second half, his side.
That's a good sign of a quality sign and a quality manager, which they have to. Darren McMahon made a change at half-time, needed to change it. But just the tempo's been miles better.
Saunders has kept that in. Couldn't quite find McCallum. Walker. Saunders. Villette. Walker. Tried to squeeze it in at the near post, but it was a good block. He's still struggling a bit here, isn't he, Bird?
You roll your ankle and you don't need that, Adam. It's a shot from a yard out against your bad ankle, but there's just so much more quality, isn't there, to Dagenham's play. The confidence is there to see the opportunities are slowly raised, and now they're asking more and more questions.
It's the captain, Will Wright, who's come across to take this one. Link, Weston, Weston with a good cross. Wright with the drive, now Saunders. Villette was caught there by Denton, Wright with the cross, great ball, and McCallum didn't quite make the most of it. Apologies for any swearing that you heard there. Oh, McCallum putting his point across rather forcefully. So, we wondered when we would see changes from Ian Culverhouse, and here comes one. Malachi Linton coming on here, signed on loan from Wycombe in August, replaces Zane Walker. He's been signed on a youth loan, Linton, so he can still play for Wycombe in the EFL Trophy, which is the plan. Had a loan spell at Slough Town last season, made 5 appearances in the league below this one. Was with Crewe as a youngster, Malachi Linton.
Well, certainly no surprise. So we're looking at the bench options that Ian Culverhouse has, and Linton was one I was certainly looking at to bring on. I said about the 65, 70-minute mark. Zane Walker played really well first half. I thought he got into good positions, but the lack of game time, you can clearly see his fitness levels aren't quite there. Certainly tired in this second half, so no surprise that the change has now been made, and just need to get him on the ball. His quality, he's got good pace as well.
Early involvement here for Linton, who was found by Maurice. Coleman. McGavin, closed down by Walker. Maurice looking to get on the turn. Just all a bit too congested, isn't it, for Kings Lynn in the middle of the park. Worked their way out nicely there, Dagenham and Redbridge. Points-wise, Kings Lynn have had an identical start to last season, 4 points from 4 games, but what an improvement in that respect for the Daggers. Already 7 points better off. They lost 3 of their first 4 last season. And they're seeking to extend their unbeaten run in the National League here, Dagenham and Redbridge, to 6 matches. Kings Lynn haven't gone more than 2 matches without defeat since March. Offside flag up against Maurice. Matt Robinson. Bowery, rather dwelt on that, had it taken off him by Walker. Now it's Villette. McCallum's in a bit of space, but then it was Villette who rather dwelt on the ball. And now Kings Lynn can mount a counter-attack. Maurice, oh, he's asked way too much of Denton there. Cleared by Reynolds. I like to do my research on players, as Adam Virgo knows. And I tell you what, I found something out about that man, Matt Robinson, I couldn't believe yesterday. It's just that he's the only man, the first man to ever be both a player in the FIFA computer game and have his own music on it as well. He's a grime music producer. And he goes by the name, his alias is Kamikaze. That's some claim to fame, that, isn't it?
It certainly is. About time you came up with a good stat.
I had you down as being into grime verse.
No, not me, no.
20 minutes to go. Headed by Fernandez, and it was McCallum of all people back doing some defending there. Just hasn't been enough conviction, has there, Adam, about Kings Lynn in this second half?
Well, you get that with young sides, Adam, that when the going's good, you can see the confidence flying, but when the game goes against you, you can sometimes see the confidence get sucked out of you and you get a little bit panicky on the ball, the runs are not quite there. And that's what it's been like for Kings Lynn in this second half. The work rate will always be there, they'll always try for the manager, they'll always try for the fans, but you can just see the quality in both sides in the second half when it really matters. But he'll always be patient with his team and his players, and so he knows the season he's in for. He knows that there are going to be good elements and bad elements. But they needed to score when they were on top in that first half.
Yellow card for Bowery here for that handball. They've got a set piece in a good situation here, Dagenham and Redbridge. Got to be switched on here as the Daggers seek to double their lead at the Walks. Sent in by Weston. Flick off Fernandez. I think it did. It's going to be a corner.
It's a good ball in there. I don't know what Paul McCallum's asking for Miles Weston to do. Maybe felt there was a little bit too much on it.
Of movement in Kings Lynn's box here. Saunders and Villette on the edge of the area. Robinson has made his way in, as has Reynolds, and McCallum and Walker are all in there. Led by the head of Reynolds, but harmlessly wide. Michael Clunan is going to be coming on shortly, I'm told, for Kings Lynn. He's the club captain. Coleman. Denton. The Daggers finished last season 9 points behind Bromley, who ultimately claimed the final playoff place. A lot of people will see Dagenham and Redbridge achieving a top 7 finish this season. A similar squad, a good start, solid platform to build on from the end of last season as well, but they could be in trouble here as Denton buys it in. And that is fantastic defending by Callum Reynolds, used all of his experience there.
Just all that experience to be in the right place at the right time and just know where you are. Just look at his position in the centre of your box, just there. And it's a good touch as well, going facing towards your own goal, knowing you're going to get a touch on it. Because of that slight panic, if you don't get the right touch, you could end up in the back of your net, but there's quality defending there from him.
So Clunan then, the club captain, coming on and taking the armband. McGavin is the player who makes way. Was actually born in Kings Lynn, Michael Clunan. His 6th season with his hometown club, the longest serving current player. Coleman. Barrows, who we've not seen get forward anywhere near as much as he did in the first half, largely because of that man there, Weston, who's occupied him from a defensive perspective more.
Well, we mentioned at half-time when Miles Weston came on that they'd have an interesting battle second half, and the battle's been won by Miles Weston by pinning him back. But then also Barrows and Denton haven't really seen in Dagenham's own half because Kings Lynn haven't really kept the ball well enough in that midfield area. It's maybe Clunan coming on now. Just that little bit of experience in that area. to try and get on the ball and create one or two things, because it's an area that we know that Kings Lynn play well with the wing backs, but we haven't really seen that in the second half so far.
Fernandez. It's so important if they're to make progress this season, Kings Lynn, that they are much better at the walks. No club in the National League won fewer home games last season. They only beat 4 teams here: Woking, Barnet, Eastleigh and Altrincham. Maurice with the pass. Linton to Denton. There's a bit more purpose about the home side's play at the moment, though. Linton. Denton. Coleman. That was worth an effort.
Haven't really seen too much of Coleman in this second half. Shot again opens up for a chance to test Elliot Justin, but again not hitting the target.
Nicely done by Villette. Saunders. Just went behind McCallum. And now it's with Joe Rowley. He loses it to Villette, and now it's Ling. Saunders. Johnson. So reliable for so many years for Barnet. With the Bees for a decade, Elliot Johnson, National League title winner with them back in 2015. Holding going on there from Barrows. No surprise to see the yellow card come out.
It's a frustration one there. The challenge there from Robinson. Easy yellow card to give.
This has been reunited with Ian Culverhouse at Kings Lynn. Ross Barrows, they briefly worked together at Grantham. Said how much belief Ian Culverhouse gives to players. I think we saw that from the way that they performed in the first half, Kings Lynn. They've just not been able to maintain it against a Dagenham who've very much improved as the game has gone on.
Yeah, I'll say poor first half against Eastleigh, conceding the 3 goals in quality in the second half to come back and draw the game. Good first half. It hasn't been good for the second half. You have to give credit to Dagenham and Redbridge, the way that they've come out showing a little bit more, and we know what they're all about. They maybe just feel that just that one chance they need, while the scoreline is at 1-0.
Ball by Saunders. Coleman. Fernandez. Rowley. Barrows. Dowry. Clunan. Well won back by Matt Robinson. And the Daggers on the charge here. Robinson. Saunders has peeled out wide. This is Maro Villette. So Sundyer is going to be coming on here. Hails from Zimbabwe initially, although his parents did move over to England when he was just 4 years old. I was reading some quotes from Sundyer when he said that he's been compared to N'Golo Kanté by some people, describes himself as an athletic box-to-box midfielder, plenty of heart and energy, and they're going to need that in the final 10 minutes here, Kings Lynn. Daggers fans, perhaps with every right to feel they are due a good season from their club. League positions of 17th, 18th, 11th and 12th in the last few seasons. The highest they've been since being relegated from the Football League was 4th in 2016. That was their first season in the National League after relegation. Remember, Ollie Hawkins was the top scorer that year with 18. And someone like McCallum now, Adam, they've got somebody else who can really be talismanic. And of course, if Walker and McCallum are scoring goals, as they have been doing at the start of the season, well, anything's possible.
Yeah, I say a small squad that Darrell has ascended. I say just two senior players coming in Walker and Lynn. So he knows that towards the back end of last season, he could have worked on stuff and worked on the squad in terms of the way that they want to play. And we haven't seen the best of them today so far, but all I can say, they've dug in deep at the moment, and if they do come away with a 1-0 win, you'll get these games throughout the season, Adam, where sometimes you have to win ugly, and sometimes you don't play well, but coming away with a clean sheet and a win can be vitally important to promotion or to winning the league title.
Just gave that a second, didn't he, the referee, and then awarded Kings Lynn the free kick. And this is at least a chance for them to stick one in the box, and we haven't seen enough of that from the home side in the second half.
Well, certainly an angle that you maybe feel as a defender that you've got enough to cover. So it's about switching on for Dagenham and Redbridge, staying with your men. But these angles in this distance, the quality has to be right.
Inside the final 10 minutes at the Walks, Fernandez and Bird. Two of those up from the back here. McCallum with a good defensive header. He's a great player to bring back in those sort of situations. Brilliant in the air, McCallum. Given away, and now it's with McCallum. Villette. Robinson. Weston goes on the outside, and McCallum's at the back post, knocked it down well.
Done well there, Paul McCallum. It's a really difficult header, but great play again from Miles Weston down the left-hand side in that one-on-one area. Get to the byline, just dink it up. He's been excellent since he's coming on in the second half. He has been the main difference, I think, why Dagenham have got themselves really back into this game and gotten themselves the lead. Just the wrong side, wasn't he, Saunders? But certainly pleasing the manager now in this second half.
So experienced, Miles Weston, how that has showed in this second half. A lot of his career in the Football League, 327 Football League appearances he has to his name. And there's his corner. I gave him the commentator's kiss of death there, didn't I? Robinson. Just wonder if Dagenham and Redbridge could plot a way out of the National League. We all know their potential, particularly with the backing of ambitious North American owners as well. It's a club that was playing in League One a decade ago, spent 9 seasons in the Football League before their 2016 relegation. And McCallum here on the ball.
He certainly feels the game comes into that final stage, the gaps will certainly open up for Dagenham to create them space on the counter-attack and good shots and opportunities to arise. I know that Ian Culverhouse's side will put more bodies forward.
Rowley. That's a good ball. Taken down superbly and only just wide as well. Good effort that from Junior Morais.
He's had to be patient in this second half, Junior Morais, but I tell you what, this is close. It's a great touch there. The angle's certainly working against him. Elliot Justin seems the calmest man in the stadium, letting that one go past his post.
Sundar it was. He just arrived a little too late to apply any sort of touch. But it's just a warning that, isn't it, to Dagenham and Redbridge, that whilst they've been the better side in this second half and have a one-goal advantage, it is a vulnerable lead. Sundar. Weston. Also remember, Adam, that last season we would have said that this was always going to be a difficult stage of a game for Kings Lynn because they were a part-time club, but that's not the case now. He has them full-time, the players in Culverhouse, so they should go strong right to the end of games. Not that they didn't before, but it would be more difficult, wouldn't it, in terms of fitness
levels is a massive area of the game now, Adam. Part-time sides in this league, I think, do find it very, very difficult. I think that was the one positive when we were speaking to Ian, saying about in pre-season, he could have them in for 3 sessions a day, working on their fitness, getting themselves into the gym a lot more as a squad and as a team. So maybe they can finish games strong, as we've seen with late goals they've scored this season.
Linton with the ball back. Barrows with the cross. It was Sundar, I think it was, looking to apply the touch there. He's getting himself into good positions. Tyler Denton up from the back. Denton gets it back again here. It's a searching cross, and they've kept it going, and Clunan beaten in the air by Robinson, and now here comes the counter-attack. Kings Lynn having to rush players back. Weston leading the charge for the Daggers. Robinson. Oh, he's played that brilliantly, Weston. And he's hit it, and he scored! What an impact he's had in this second half. Miles Weston doubles the Daggers' lead. Pinpoint effort into that bottom corner, and that should be the points secure now.
Well, it's just a brilliant counter-attacking goal, and this is the biggest thing we have seen this season with Dagenham and Redbridge. The defensive third, and then all of a sudden they're away. Weston, the little give and go, composure, and above all, the confidence to strike that into the bottom corner with the execution of real quality. It really is now game, set and match. It's been an inspirational substitution from Darryl McMahon in this second half, and he's been absolutely vital. And that, for me, now is game over.
An inspired change at half-time. It has completely changed the game. And their great start to the season goes on. What a good time it is to be a Daggers fan. Ended last season brilliantly. And they started this new campaign unbeaten, and they're going to go back top of the table as well. Started the day top, knocked off top spot by Boreham Wood, but will be heading back on goal difference. And we've got, well, talk about this league surprising us every year, Adam, and it looks like it's going to happen potentially again, doesn't it? Who would have predicted that we'd have Boreham Wood and Dagenham and Redbridge leading the way at the start of this campaign? Rice. Linton. Shot was from Coleman. What have we learnt about these two teams today, Adam?
Well, I think for Dagenham, when I look at the way that they played first half, it seems to me they've got to be at it to be winning games of football. And second half, they have been and have had to show desire and quality to go and get the 3 points today. And I think for Kings Lynn, it's just typical of the way that they have been and will be, that they will play well in certain games, and when they score, when they're on top, they'll win more games. But defensively, they've got to be a lot stronger, especially with the first goal. But I think it's great character from Darryl McMahon's side in this second half to come back after, to be honest, a pretty poor first half from them, to come back and get 2 goals and a clean sheet.
So a minimum of 5 minutes to be added on. Morais, trapped by Saunders. Oh, he's done really well, Morais. Oh, and it's in! Well, we could be in for a grandstand finish here. The deflection took it past Elliot Justin. The clean sheet is gone, and it's a lifeline, a route back into this for Kings Lynn.
Well, he's deserved his goal, Junior Morais, and he's been absolutely brilliant in the first half, and he's had 2 chances in the second half, and on the second chance he scores. In these areas here, you've got to show him down the line. I don't think George Saunders, in terms of where he is, can't afford to do that. Takes a wicked deflection off Reynolds that goes into the goal. But that's just about getting your head down and having a go. And that's what Morais does. And he gets his side a goal and gives them an absolute lifeline.
They're not done yet. Rance has come on here. It's his first appearance of the season, having started the campaign injured. Interesting, the first thing he does is come on and tell his teammates to keep calm. Could be very interesting, these final few minutes. There'll be a bit more added time as well. The Dagenham fans are in no mood to give the ball back at the moment, though.
I spoke a little bit too soon, Adam. This is the summary of the game was happening.
Johnson cleared it. Well, they're being urged forward here now by the home support. Denton. There'll be nerves on that Daggers bench. Clearance by Wright. Coleman. Sundyer. Coleman. Dagenham and Redbridge push back here. Need to find a way out, and they might do that here with Robinson. Let's get Adams man of the match.
Well, I did have him down before he scored his goal, because I thought his second half performance was absolutely brilliant. He came on and he changed the game. And when you play poorly in the first half, you need to look at your bench for something to happen. And he's come on and been involved with the first goal, got his side the second goal, which seems at the moment very, very important. But brilliant substitution, brilliant second half performance from Miles Weston.
Game changer, but it's not done yet. Deep into added time. And there's too much on that for Morais, who's worked so hard up front, almost like he's been trying to make up for that red card he got on his debut here on the opening weekend. Hasn't played since because of the suspension, 3 matches. Lynn's header. Can Dagenham and Redbridge see this out now? So close to another big 3 points. Bird. Fernandez has to go forward quickly here for Kings Lynn. They go long through Fernandez. Well, it could well be too little too late for Ian Culverhouse and his team. But it'll please him that they fought to the end. And I think we've certainly seen enough today from Kings Lynn, particularly in the first half, to suggest that they've got every chance of staying up this season. Here's McCallum. And Rance with the shot, and it took a deflection. And it will be a corner.
Yeah, just a tight pass back there from Kings Lynn that allowed McCallum in. Just trying to see the presence of Rance coming up. Just a challenge in the end that takes it out for a corner, and there'll be certainly no rush to take this one.
Well, the change he made at half-time, the difference in his side in the second half, so telling at the Walks. Another 3 points for Vanarama. They go back top of the table. Walker, it was with the first, his fourth in 5 games. And as I say, they were miles better in the second half with that man on the pitch. Had a key influence in the first, scored the second. An own goal from Reynolds after the shot from Marais. Made it interesting in the closing stages, but on the balance of play, particularly in light of how much better they were than their hosts in the second half, Darryl McMahon's side perhaps deserve those 3 points. Adam, and what a start to the season they're having, still unbeaten, top of the pile.
Yeah, that's what you need second half, Adam. Sometimes a bit of character and a bit of bottle. Okay, they didn't play well in the first half, but that's a sign of a good side. You come out second half, you get the job done, you get 3 points done away from home, and that's a big win for them.
So full-time, Kings Lynn 1, Dagenham and Redbridge 2.
Well, that is why we are already talking about Dagenham and Redbridge as contenders this early in the season. Didn't really contend much in that first half, but Darryl McMahon got his tactics right, brought on Miles Weston, who has been nursing a bit of an injury problem, but he was very, very effective. And despite Kings Lynn's late goal, they take all the points here by 2 goals to 1. They will win a lot of games you fancy this season. A lot of ways for them to win football matches. And that's the last, of course, of the games in the Vanarama National League today. Yes, it's early in the season, but maybe 1 or 2 patterns starting to emerge. Solihull with a very late winner at Aldershot. That's a good win for Neil Ardley's side. Difficult start for sure for Danny Searle and Aldershot. Barnet were in front at home to Eastleigh, but couldn't quite get their first win, Harry Kewell's side, because Ben House, who else, equalised for the Spitfires. Boreham Wood, very late winner for them. They are also on 13 points, as are Dagenham. Ty Marsh with the late winner at Bromley. No goals, Dover and Chesterfield. That's a decent point for Dover, obviously with a very difficult season ahead of them with the 12-point deduction. They'll be glad, though, to have held James Rose Chesterfield to a 0-0 draw down on the south coast. Good win for Halifax, 100 years today of football at the Shea. Pete Wild and his team reacting from last week's defeat against Yeovil to beat Southend by 3 goals to 1 today. Bailey Waters amongst the scorers. Great win for Yeovil, 3-0 at Stockport, who went down to 10 men early in the second half with the dismissal of Ash Palmer. We'll have a look at that in the highlights later. Grimsby 3-1 winners at Torquay. Not a good start to the season for Gary Johnson's side, who struggled particularly at home and took the lead today, but back came Grimsby to win 3-1. Paul Hurst's side. Wealdstone with a very, very late win over Altrincham. Will be delighted. It was 100-odd minutes when they got the winner, Medialito, with the all-important goal. 1 apiece, Weymouth and Notts County. County in front down on the south coast, where we'll be next Saturday, but Weymouth coming back to draw. Wrexham were down to 10 men for the last 15 minutes of their game. 8,000 plus at the racecourse to see them hang on for the 1-0 win. Jordan Davis with the only goal against Woking, and 2-1, of course, Dagenham here at Kings Lynn. All of which means those 2, Dagenham and Redbridge and Boreham Wood, at the top, 13 points from 5 games played. Grimsby up to 10 with 4 on the board, so they could join the other 2 on 13 whether to win that game. And Chesterfield in 3rd, and Notts County, Yeovil now, and Halifax make up a very early top 7. And for what it's worth, there's Kings Lynn down in 18th with 4 points from the 5 games played. Dover, of course, with the big mountain to climb, and Aldershot looking for their first points of the campaign. We'll hear from Josh Walker very shortly, but before we do,